Hi guys, welcome back on Cloud Savior. So let's start today's video. My name is Rahil Mujahid. I am 19x Microsoft certified professional. So here in this video, we are going to discuss 10 question coming from AWS. Okay, so that's going to be on cloud computing, right? You can cover in AWS practitioner or you can cover as a solution architect exam as well. Okay, so this questions is going to be somewhere like mid segment, not very easy one and not very a hard one. Okay, so if you are like planning to go for as your solution architect examination, you can also use it there. Okay, so let's start with our question number one. Again, we will discuss the question, the options. I mean anything like whatever coming the option A, B. Okay, so let's start with the question number one. You can see on your screen. Question number one, I can see a company stores confidential files in Amazon S3. They want to ensure that all uploaded objects are automatically encrypted, even if users forgot to specify encryption. Okay, which solution best meets this requirement? Let's go for option number A. Enable versioning on the S3 bucket. Option number B, configure default server-side encryption on the S3 bucket. Okay. Option number C, enable MFA delete on the bucket. Option number D, create lifecycle rules for the bucket. Okay. So again, if you have been watching my channel, my videos, as I always do, and as I always recommend to all of you, like just remove the irrelevant one. Just go to the question like it is asking. We need to enable the encryption by default. Okay. So let's again go for the option. Okay. Let's go with the option number D, create lifecycle rules for the bucket. So like we all know what does it mean, like what is the meaning of S3 bucket, where we use it and why we use it. Okay, so creation of the life cycle is completely a different thing. Okay, it means we are creating a life cycle of that particular data, like in which bucket it will reside, like a S3 bucket, glacier, or something else. So life cycle is far away from encryption and these things. Okay, you can just remove option number D. That is a completely irrelevant one. Let's go for option number C. Enable MFA delete on the bucket. Again, like multi-factor authentication is completely different thing and different domain. Just again ruled out option number C. Now we have option number A and B. Option number A, enable versioning on the S3 bucket. Again, like not exactly a irrelevant one because we do not know what's the meaning of enabling of the versioning. Okay, but let's hold on option A. Let's go for option number B. Configure default server-side encryption on the S3 bucket. I mean, we know the answer, right? Where they mention they're talking about encryption, server-side encryption on the S3 bucket. So the answer would be option number B, that is configure default server-side encryption on the S3 bucket. So like this is how you can go for your examination. Sometimes you will see that yes, the remaining options are completely irrelevant one. You can just rule it out, okay? But sometimes you may face like some of the options are you may think like all of them are coming under in the question and all of them are relevant one. So where you have to think like what should be the answer. Okay, so the answer B is our answer. Option B is our answer, right? Default server-side encryption automatically encrypts all newly uploaded objects. So whatever you will upload, if you enable it, by default, it will be encrypted. You don't have to go there and do it manually again and again. Okay, that is the one thing. Okay, still, if you have any kind of confusion or questions or anything, feel free to comment here or check out my LinkedIn. I mean, I'm fine with both of these. Okay, so question number B, we have a company wants to reduce Amazon EC2 cost for workloads um, that can tolerate interruption. Which pricing option provides the lowest cost? Let's go for the options now. Option A, on-demand instances. Okay. Option B, reserved instances. Option C, dedicated host. Option D, sport instance. So like these all are a type of instances or virtual machine where you are working. Okay. On demand, reserved, dedicated, and sport instance. So the major difference in these options are pricing. Okay, the pricing is the major thing. If you go for reserved one, definitely you have to pay a lesser amount as compared to on demand and dedicated one. Okay. If you go for a sport one, again you will go for the cheaper options, right? So the pricing is the big mover in these options. So now on demand instance, I mean the normal instance what we use as a virtual machine, okay, EC2 instance. Reserved instance, you have to reserve this for months or for couple of months or for years. Well, I mean, at the last, you have to pay a lower amount because you are reserving a capacity in the data center. Option number D, dedicated host. Again, you have to pay a little bit extra amount because you are using a dedicated part of infra from DC. Option D, spot instance. So it spot instance is something that is completely unutilized capacity of the data center. Okay. So let's say, for example, a DC can create, let's say, 1,000 virtual machine, 1,000 vCPUs, and at this particular stage, only 70% utilization is happening. So 30% vCPUs is still available to offer. Okay, but right now it is underutilized. So what does it mean? Like Microsoft will give it to you in very lowest price in just one condition. If any higher demand will come up, let's say someone will try to create on demand instance. So your sport instance will be deleted and this capacity will be given to that priority customer. Okay. That's why we are calling it a sport instance. Definitely it will notify, you will get to know that yes, your sport instance will be deleted in so and so time. Yes, that's a kind of a uncertain capacity that you are using. That's why you are paying a less amount, okay, in sport instance. So I would like to go with the option number D, that is the sport instances. Sport instance can save up to 90% your costing, but AWS can reclaim them with short notice. Okay. I mean, in a very short notice, they will reclaim the particular capacity if any higher demand would come up. If anyone try to, go for on-demand instance, if anyone will try to go for dedicated host, so this particular capacity will be just fetched out from that customer and it will be given to the higher priority customer. Okay. So just remember this thing. Okay, I hope we know the answer. Let's go for question number three. Okay, which AWS service allows users to securely access AWS resources without creating long-term access keys? Okay, option number A, AWS IAM, Identity Center. Option B, Amazon Cognito. Option C, AWS Secrets Manager. Okay, option number D, AWS Directory Services. Okay, I mean, let's just rule out some services. Amazon Cognito, again, is kind of a completely irrelevant one. Let's just rule it out. Option C, AWS Secret Manager. Okay, so now you must be confused because we are talking about securely access AWS resources without creating long-term access keys. So Secret Manager, like it may be the answer. Let's not decide yet. But yes, let's keep it in an option. Okay. Let's go for option number D, AWS Directory Services. We're talking about Active Directory, again, the completely irrelevant one. So we can remove option B and option D. Let's discuss option A and option C. Okay. In IAM, you will decide the authentication and temporary credential. Okay. So if I compare option A and option C is more into the secrets, password, and credential. Okay. But if I focus on option number A, AWS IAM, Identity Center, that is something where you can manage, where you can allow users to securely access AWS resources without creating long-term access keys. Okay. So I'd like to go with the option number A, that is the IAM, Identity Center enables workflows, authentication and temporary credential. Okay, so you can just store your credential as a temporary and use it without revealing them. Okay, so let's go for question number four. Under the AWS shared responsibility model, which responsibility belongs to AWS? Option number A, configuring IAM policies. Option number B, encrypting customer data stored in a Amazon S3 bucket. Option C, securing the physical infrastructure that hosts AWS services. Option number D, rotating application credential. Okay. Okay, so that's the kind of, I would say you have to discuss it first. Let's again go with the question. Under the AWS shared responsibility model, which responsibility belongs to AWS? Okay, if I talk about the configuration, IAM policies, as the name suggests, you have to take care of it. Like how you're going to configure it, that is more into the client side or customer side. It is you and me. So let's rule out option number A. Option number B, encrypting customer data stored in Amazon S3. Again, of course, you have an option to enable or disable it. So again, like the more it's going into the customer side, not into the AWS infra or vendor side. Option number C, securing the physical infrastructure that hosts AWS service. Clearly, it indicates like it is more into the vendor side or service provider side. So that should be our answer. But still, let's go for option number D, rotating application credential. Again, that is more into the customer side. So the answer would be option number C. AWS is responsible for security of the cloud, including physical facilities, networking, and hardware. That is our answer. Let's go for question number five. Before moving forward, make sure you're getting it. And if you have any kind of concern, question, confusion, just feel free to put in the comment section, or you may reach out to my LinkedIn profile as well. Okay. So let's go for question number five. A company wants to centrally manage multiple AWS accounts and apply service control policies, SCPs. Which AWS service should they use? Option number A, AWS organizations. Option number B, AWS control tower. Option number C, AWS config. Option number D, AWS trusted advisor. Let's rule out option number D. Trusted advisor is different thing, like it is not even nearby, the question. Again, let's go for question. Company wants to centrally manage multiple AWS account and apply service control policy. So company need to manage multiple AWS subscription or accounts. Okay. So which AWS service should they use? That is the question. Let's rule out trusted advisor again. If I talk about the AWS config control tower, I mean, you can clearly see you have the answers in your options. Like you can clearly see that AWS organization, as the name suggests, we all know we use AWS organization to enable centralized account management and SCPs. If you need a central control that you have to manage multiple accounts, AWS org you will use. Okay, so let's rule out control tower, config, trusted advisor. These all are services, but not for this particular problem. Okay, so the answer would be option number A, AWS or organizations, whatever you would like to call it. Let's jump on to the question number six. That is the which AWS service provider near real-time visibility into API calls made in an AWS account for governance and auditing. Okay. Okay. Amazon CloudWatch, AWS Cloud Trail, AWS config, Amazon inspector. Okay. Okay. I mean, we all know like the service that we use for API is only just one service. So CloudWatch is like a monitoring that, exactly like a Azure monitor that you are monitoring your cloud infrastructure. CloudWatch we will not use for the real-time API calls. Okay. That is completely irrelevant one. Let's rule it out. Option number B, AWS Cloud Trail. We will discuss it in the last. Option number C, AWS config. Again, we do not use AWS config just to go for the API calls. Option number D, Amazon Inspector. Again, like we would like to go for AWS Cloud Trail. That is the right answer. Cloud Trail records API activity across AWS services that you can use if you're working in API. That should be our answer. Let's go for question number seven. A company wants to migrate an application to AWS with minimal operations overhead. Which service request requires the least infrastructure management? Now we're talking about migration. Okay. Amazon EC2, Amazon ECS on EC2, AWS Lambda, Amazon EBS. Okay. So just again focus on your question, what it is asking, then go for answer. A company wants to migrate application to AWS with minimal operational overhead. Okay. Like I don't want to go for, configuration of virtual machine, like the vCPUs and storage and everything. I don't want to do that kind of headache. Okay. I just want some space where I can use it. I can host my website or application, whatever it is. I don't want to, think about the underlying infrastructure. Okay. So that should be serverless in very normal term. So what should be your answer? Okay. EC2 again, you have to think about vCPUs, you have to think about networking, you have to think about storage, everything. So let's rule out option number A, Amazon EC2. Amazon ECS on EC2 again the same thing like we are using a virtual machine. Let's rule out option number B. Option number C is our answer. We all know that. But still, let's discuss option number D. Amazon EBS, Elastic Block Storage. Again, you have to manage it by yourself. So these are all our infrastructure as services except one, that is the AWS Lambda. So Lambda is fully serverless, eliminating server management. It's a kind of a platform as a service that you will use it. Once you have a service, then you can use it just to host your infrastructure, just to host your application or website, whatever you want to do. So that overhead just to managing the infra, virtual machine and CPUs and networking, everything will be handled by AWS. Okay, that's why we're calling it serverless. Okay, let's go for option number, sorry, question number eight. Which storage option provides shared file storage that can be mounted simultaneously by multiple Linux EC2 instances? Okay, so option number A, Amazon S3. We all know like why we use S3. Option number B, Amazon EBS, Elastic Block Storage. Option number C, Amazon EFS, Elastic File Storage. Amazon, option number D, Amazon Glacier. Okay. So again, like all four of these options are coming from storage family. Okay. S3 is storage, EBS is also storage, EFS and Glacier. But they all are serving a different purpose. Let's start from D, Amazon Glacier. So it's a kind of a bucket, S3 bucket, right? It comes under the bucket category. So when you need to retain, like you need retention in terms of like months for a longer period of time, then you're gonna use Glacier. So in the Glacier, you will pay very cheap amount just to store your data, but the fetching amount would be high. Okay, let's say if you are keeping any data that you are fetching once in a year or twice in a year, so Glacier would be the nicest or cheapest option you would be having. Okay, that retrieval cost is very high in Glacier, but retention period like storage costing is very cheap. Glacier is not the right answer because you cannot mount multiple Linux EC2s connecting to one single Glacier. Okay, same thing goes for EBS, same thing goes for S3 bucket. Okay, EBS you have to attach one single virtual machine with one single EBS. Okay, although you can attach multiple EBS to one single virtual machine, but not one single storage connecting to multiple virtual machines. Okay, that is not possible. The answer would be Amazon EFS is a managed NFS file system that supports concurrent access from different or multiple virtual machines. So you'll be having one single storage service where multiple virtual machines are connected to this particular storage. Okay, we call it EFS. Okay, moving forward, we have question number nine. A company wants to improve application availability by routing traffic to healthy endpoints in multiple AWS regions. Which AWS service provides this capability? Okay, Amazon CloudFront, Elastic Load Balancing, Amazon Route 53, AWS Direct Connect. That is the hard one because now these all are networking and routing services that you have to think like what should be the answer. Whatever they are asking in the question, like it can be done by using elastic load balancing as well. UK, right, right. we have to go with the most effective or efficient service that you are seeing in your option. Okay. Amazon CloudFront would not be the answer. Elastic load balancing, like it's a kind of a load balancer that you can use. But again, like if I want to go for the healthy endpoint in multiple AWS region, so any efficient or effective service has to be used. Okay, AWS Direct Connect, again, that is not the right answer. The remaining or the very effective or efficient answer or option we have is Amazon Route 53. It supports DNS failover, latency based routing, and health checks across regions. Okay. The right answer would be Amazon Route 53. The last question we have is, which statement best describes an AWS availability zone? That's going to be a easiest one, I believe. Option number A separate AWS account within AWS region. Of course not. Option B, one or more discrete data center with independent power, networking, and connectivity within an AWS region. Nice one. That should be the answer. Option number C, a globally distributed edge location for content delivery. Of course not. Option number D, a private subnet within an Amazon VPC. I mean, you can rule out option number D the moment you see it, because that's completely relevant one. Okay, option number C, uh, edge location we use when we are working in CDN, content delivery network. Okay, now we're talking about availability zone. So the best described I can see is option number B. That should be our answer because it is simply saying like DCs with independent power, networking, connectivity within AWS region. Okay, so that should be our answer, right? So we have discussed 10 questions coming from AWS Solution Architect exam that you can use. Still, if you have any kind of question, feel free to reach out like on my LinkedIn, or you can comment here. Ask any queries, confusion on anything, or any suggestion that you want to give me, like on which topic I should create my next video. Please feel free to give me advice or suggestion in the comment section. That's all in this video. See you in the next video, and keep liking and subscribing Cloud Saviors. See you in the next video.